Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Bandit or SB Prime here with the episode commentary for 107, Winter Solstice Part 1, The Spirit World. So, this is the first part of a two-parter, the Winter Solstice two-parter, that introduces us to the kind of driving plot point of the whole series. We know that Aang has to learn all four elements and confront Fire Lord Ozai. There's just kind of no timescale on it. The second part of this will give us the timescale, and the first part kind of introduces us more to the kind of role of the Avatar in the Avatar universe. And after the last few episodes being more character development episodes than plot heavy episodes, we return to kind of more plot. And then just this kind of thing is that Katara makes this kind of comment about the clouds, and then since Aang can fly, he just dives recklessly off Appa through a cloud, comes back. He found out clouds are made of water and air, which later comes up in the episode The Fortune Teller, with Aang and Katara cloud bending together. Kind of telling us kind of like the relationship between a waterbender and a airbender is sort of like a cloud. And then here we see the kind of, for the first time, how Aang kind of not being there as the Avatar for 100 years, how he kind of feels about the effect that has had in the world. As an airbender, he kind of like respects all life, kind of even kind of plants, trees. He feels guilty for this, and again he feels bad because he doesn't know really how to be the Avatar. No one ever told him what to do. He needs Roku to help him. And we know that Roku died 112 years ago. And we see just kind of the relaxed, how easy Iroh is. While it's just a great contrast in their relationship, in that Zuko's so intense. Everything he says is just intense. And kind of like quick to anger, while Iroh is just really laid back, kind of more spiritual. Just wants to relax. And we see the kind of the subtle power of his firebending there. And it's just that Iroh just not even caring that Zuko's there, just standing up, completely naked in front of Zuko. Zuko does not want to see that. And then Katara just seeing that Aang is in a bit of a kind of mood, just kind of like, again, smashes him in the head with a acorn, which again is perfect for Katara's character. Just like there is some life left, it gives hope, and she gives hope to Aang, which Aang will later use when Hei Bai is introduced. And we see kind of like the legend has kind of been like passed down. Aang has been gone 100 years, but they still know that the Avatar is an airbender. And we see kind of like we see that the front of the town has been wrecked a bit, so we wonder why is that. And we see kind of how well respected the Avatar is. We've seen it in like Kyoshi Island, But that was kind of like the more kind of fanatical side of it. But here we see the kind of how big a figure the Avatar is in the world. He's really respected. And then this is when we're really introduced to the spirit world for the first time. We know that one of the spirits is called Hei Bai, the black and white spirit. We later found out about Ko, the kind of, I suppose they kind of build him up as like the Ko, the face stealer, and he's really not knowledgeable. There's kind of Enma, the monkey, and stuff like that. And then this episode gives us a lot of kind of more the details about the Avatar. The Avatar is the bridge between the human physical world and the spirit world. It sort of kind of hints at the origins of where the Avatar came from, in that like this, and then what Yang Chen says in Escape from the Spirit World for Yang Chen, in that it sort of hinted at that the spirits realized that they needed to have some influence on the physical world to keep balance between like the four nations. But they couldn't just have an all-powerful spirit kind of step in and force balance on the world. So they kind of gave kind of spiritly powers to a human being, and they learn what it means to be a human, and kind of give the Avatar an all-powerful power, while still kind of having the kind of sincerity of being kind of human, understanding right and wrong, like what it is to be human. And then here we are, go back to Iroh, who has kind of like fallen asleep in his kind of sauna sort of thing. And he is captured here by some Earthbender soldiers. And then we get that Iroh has the nickname the Dragon of the West, as we later find out that is because he has, at least people think he has killed a dragon, which is Sozin introduced this tradition of hunting dragons for kind of honor, respect, power. But we know that Iroh didn't actually kill a dragon. He was chosen to be worthy by Ranan Shao, or Shaw, Shao, and yeah. Oh my god, I completely lost my train of thought. Dragons. Yeah, so he kept the kind of dragons alive by not kind of saying that he killed the last one, and that introduces us to the kind of spirituality of Iroh. And here, this is the first time we see Aang attempts to be the Avatar. He really doesn't know what he's doing. He just thinks he like kind of commands the spirits, leave this place alone. And then we were introduced to Hei Bai in his kind of like angry form, as we later find out. And Aang really doesn't know how to cope with this spirit, because what can he do against it? It's just wrecking the place. He doesn't know whether he should fight it or just try and like kind of calm it down, because he is a bridge between the two worlds. We see kind of the power of a spirit in the kind of physical world. And that like it kind of makes you wonder if Aang had like actually tried to have like a full-on battle with Hei Bai. Would he have been a match even? How powerful is the Avatar in relation to, say, another spirit? And then Zuko kind of comes back. He didn't leave his uncle, because we know that he really does kind of care about his uncle. His uncle has been more of a father figure to him than his actual father. And here's some CG shot, as we see here. That you can definitely tell that Aang gliding through there is CG compared to the kind of traditional animation of the background and Hei Bai. It's kind of integrated very nicely into the whole style. And as we see here, the that statue that Aang lands under is the statue of Hei Bai, the black and white spirit who's effectively the kind of guardian of the forest that Aang found burned down at the start of the episode. And this episode does a great job at kind of telling us more about the Iroh-Zuko relationship and more about Iroh's past. Iroh has laid siege to... Wait, Ba Sing Se mentioned for the first time. And we later find out that the reason he left the 600-day siege, like nearly 2 year siege at Ba Sing Se, because his son died in the battle, I assume. And how that was probably the kind of turning point in his life. He didn't want to be a general anymore. He became more spiritual, and as we later see, he can see spirits. And just kind of his kind of military kind of tact there, how clever he is. Leaves the sandal there because he knows Zuko will follow him. And we see that, like, we know Katara considers Aang and Sokka as her family now. And so she takes it really hard that they're kind of both gone and missing. And she can't really do anything. Oh, we notice that Aang is a blue colour, which is a confusing thing in that this episode brings up. Because as we later find out a few times, when Aang goes to the spirit world, there is actually it's actually a different place. The kind of a Ko's kind of cave. So it does kind of bring up the point of like, where is the kind of cutoff between being the kind of transparent spirit in the physical world and being that spirit in the actual spirit world. Again, I think if Dark Horse continue to put out more and more Avatar comics, they could explore stuff like this, like Iroh and the spirit world journey, Iroh's past, more about the spirit world, the origin of the Avatar, stuff like that. That's where comics will kind of come in. And we see that Aang really doesn't know that much about the spirit world either. Just like we don't know if when people die, do they go to the spirit world, or because we know that like all the avatars are in the spirit world. But is it that just because as the avatar they have a connection to spirit through the avatar spirit? Is that just why they're there? We see that Aang can't airbend in the spirit world. And here's the introduction of Fang and dragons into the Avatar universe. And like the design on these dragons is really cool. It's a kind of, I believe it's the more kind of Chinese dragon design. We see that it is Fang, Roku's dragon. Then we have there that the avatars have an animal guide. As we know, Appa is Aang's, Fang is Roku's, and as we believe for Korra, that Naga, Naga, is Korra's animal guide, a polar bear dog. So that leaves us kind of only with an earthbending animal guide, which you may have to say is most likely a badger mole or something like that, or these animals that the soldiers are riding on right now. And we notice there that Iroh sees Fang and Spirit Aang. And Iroh sort of uses this kind of reverse psychology thing where he says, like, rather than saying, like, they're too tight, please loosen them so we can escape, he just kind of says that they're too loose to get him to tighten them, which the guy thinks, oh, there's no problem with that, that'll secure him even more. But he just wants him to touch the thing. We see that was established earlier on, that he can make fire through the kind of breath from his nose. Iroh is the kind of expert on the breath of fire. How breathing is the key to powerful firebending. And here we get the kind of Avatar Roku's temple here on Crescent Island, as we know. Which is the kind of... There's the comet that we will only find about in the next episode, how that changes the kind of whole journey of Aang. How he thinks he has kind of all the time in the world, just don't get caught. Master the 4 elements and confront the Fire Lord, but as we later find out in the next episode, he's got like less than a year, only till the end of summer. So kind of effectively like kind of 9 months sort of thing. And then we're kind of introduced to the kind of solstice thing, that for the most part you can only kind of connect to the spirit world on solstices, winter and summer solstices. And they realize that after Iroh's pretty epic escape attempt, that he's gonna have to they're gonna have to execute or like kind of make Iroh not dangerous anymore by, as they do, kind of smashing, crushing his arms so he can't firebend from his arm. But we see through Iroh's smile that it was all part of his plan. He just wanted to kind of stop the kind of march to Ba Sing Se. He just wanted to halt them so Zuko could catch up. And we see here the kind of way that the spirit goes back into the body, and that is kind of how it works. And Aang realizes here that that is actually Hei Bai, its true form. The kind of peaceful forest black and white spirit. Aang returns, and Katara is kind of delighted for him to be back, as he's a family member. But Sokka is still missing, as we find out. And like this episode does a kind of good job of as we know, we were presented to Zuko and Iroh as the kind of villains in the first episode, but it does a great job. The show does a great job of making us love and really like this group of Iroh and Zuko, and it makes the kind of Earthbender soldiers into the villains. And we see Zuko using the low attacks, like break his root style, on these Airbenders, showing how much he learns. And we see the kind of gulfing class between the captain of these Earthbender soldiers and the rest of the squad. He's a better Earthbender. And then there's just that great line again. Zuko tells him, put on clothes, please. Aang waiting for Hei Bai. He's sort of a bit more confident now, knows what he has to do. He just has to kind of calm him down. And as he learned from Fang, he kind of touched the center of the forehead. We know that the chakra in the forehead is the light chakra, which deals with insight, which is a great connection later to the episode The Guru. To kind of calm them down, give them kind of information. Again, the kind of symbolism of the acorn throughout this episode, as kind of like bringing back life. We see there the panda form of Hei Bai. Again, like a kind of another non-hybrid animal, and the way Hei Bai walking brings back life to the earth, like through the bamboo. And then just kind of like that, a bathroom joke, again showing the humor of Avatar. Sokka being kind of really practical there. We need stuff. Katara being kind of more polite than that. But the town is so happy that the spirit is healed. Aang sort of gets his first kind of time to really be the Avatar, solve a town's problems. And then here's the kind of introduction of urgency into the series. And then what a cliffhanger there. Like we're 7 episodes in, massive cliffhanger before the second part of this. Crescent-shaped island, crescent moon. And just like, we have to go to the Fire Nation now. And you kind of get the thing like, oh, that's where the Fire Lord is. Could we see a confrontation this early on? Just it's very well placed kind of cliffhanger. And again, great setup for the next episode, which is 108, the Winter Solstice Part 2, Avatar Roku, where for the first time, we saw him there before, and the statue before, where we will get to see the kind of personality of Avatar Roku for the first time.